Okay, so welcome back, class. In the last episode, I was working on this sketch, and I was having a lot of difficulty in getting the local colors in the lemon the same color temperature as the reference drawing that I have made based on the book Pastels Made Easy. So during the break, I got out my workable fixative by Krylon, and what this does is it gives you a new surface to work on so you can add another layer of pastel. So you want to take this outside. It's very important. The fumes are very smelly and toxic, so you want to go outside, shake up your can for 2 minutes, and then spray it in a back and forth motion, one way and then another way, in thin layers, and you want to be about 6 to 8 feet away from your drawing. So you don't want to get drips from your spray. And then leave it to dry for about an hour before you try to add another layer of pastel. So I've waited more than an hour now, and I'm going to go ahead and try to add another layer of pastel color to get closer to those warmer tones and colors that I see in my drawing. And I'm also going to try a new technique. I'm going to do a little bit of a broken color technique with the background, and I'm going to use my favorite artist, Mary Cassatt, as a muse for the background. So I'm going to divert a little bit from what's in the book. And I'm using this painting, Woman in a Strawberry Costume, to get some ideas about broken color. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to get rid of this acid green that I have over here and start adding in maybe even a bit of orange, just because it's gotten to be so green. And I'm constantly looking at my reference. Now that got a little bit too orange, so I'll go back in and add some more yellow to correct it. So warm that up. Well, got a little more yellow than orange. Maybe I'll just fade that line out a little bit. There we go. So at this point, I'm really looking at edges and outlines. I'm trying to create a lot of soft edges to make it look more realistic. I might have a few areas of hard edges, but not a whole lot. And I'm also bumping up the light values quite a bit. So whenever it was white, and then like a little bit of this creamy, almost like a creamy yellow ochre, if you can see that. Great. Still looks a little bit orange. Maybe I'll leave a few strokes down. So when you leave a stroke down like that, it's called broken color, and it will just add some interest to your painting. A little bit acid green in here too. So I'm going to add a little bit of red to that yellow. Try to make a color temperature correction. Try to get rid of. So there might be some green in that lemon, you know, especially in the shadow areas, but we don't want it to look that way throughout the piece. I'm just going to reinstate those lights. So I'm just adding a little detail, a little bit of interest. Okay, I'm going to keep moving throughout this painting. I don't want to get stuck. I'm going to warm up that melon. I'm going to calm down that green a little bit. Smooth that out with some red. And constantly looking back at my reference, I see I think I'm going to need to lighten up that melon. The value is a little bit too dark, so we're getting closer to the light source. So you always want to indicate that. So I'm going to lighten up very lightly with this creamy white, almost like a yellow ochre with white added to it. Just going to add that in a few spots. Maybe rub it in just to take the value in a lighter direction. And want to be sure that you are blending with a clean finger, or maybe I won't blend it in at all. Maybe I'll just lay the stroke down and leave it there. So not everything has to be blended, and it would actually be pretty boring if that's what you did do. So maybe I'll leave a few lighter areas, and I'll just leave that kind of dark. And I'll also create a little interest with the red. Make a few squiggly marks. Just to... It is a drawing and a painting, so you can get away with having some linear marks if you want. It doesn't all have to be perfectly blended. So let's move on to the lemon. It still looks pretty green. So I'm going to start mixing up orange, this creamy color, whatever I can do to try to get rid of this horrible acid green color. Emphasize that shadow area down here. Leave a little mark in there, just create a little interest. Maybe darken out these values down here a bit. Have that fade out. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that background and put in some broken color. And I think I will start with a light green, just so you can see. So I'm just laying down marks. They're linear marks, and I'm not trying to blend them. I'm just thinking of interesting colors of green, multiple greens, maybe spring green. So it's also creating some unity, because I'm repeating the color. So I'm going to go back in maybe with something a little bit darker so you can see those lighter strokes, and this is broken color. So it's an impressionistic technique that artists used to capture the fleeting effects of light and shade. So maybe I will bring in some yellow. Maybe that's where the light is coming from. So you can just blend or not blend as much